Come on, wake them up. Wake them up. See him still sleeping, so I had to shake him up. I kept it too real. I wasn't faking up. My real life was a headline. Your real life got a deadline. My timeline was a hashtag. Your timeline just a hate crime. Coming in hot, feeling like pop. Like in '94 when he took 5 shots. Too much drive to ride your wave. This is my top, and I'm off that lot. Black on black on black on black on black on black on black. You don't have to fall a rap to get the racks on racks. Uber coolers trying to catch my vibe and find my way. Yeah, I know I'm ratchet, but I'm really safe. Hot sauce dripping. Everybody want to start dipping. First, nobody want to listen. Now everybody pay attention. Now everybody pay fee. Even Trump got taken knee. When the horn blow, y'all gonna see. Make the wall fall down like, yeah. I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast because we still alive. No big. I feel like Pac. I shoot the shot. Coming in hot.
Can I hear myself? Yeah. I'm not the same. No, I'm not the same. No, I'm not the same. No, I'm not. No, I'm not the same. I think I done changed. Yeah. No, I'm not the same. I think I done changed. See something not the same. I used to walk into the room, head down, I don't walk. Now I float on them, I float on them, just float. They hanging on to that goose down in my cup. Float on them, I float on them, just float. I don't step, I don't walk, I don't dance, I just float. Float, float, float. I don't dance, I just float. Float, 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 I just float. I'm light as a feather, I'm light as a feather, yeah baby I float. It's hard to look at my resume and not find a reason to toast. She throwing that thing in a circle, making it viral, I might just elope. Say listen lil' mama, you like Shabari, watch while I show you the ropes. I used to let Tuck and get to me, I used to be my own enemy. Now I done had several epiphanies, over some breakfast at Tiffany's. Had to forgive all my frenemies, they are not who they pretend to be. I had to protect all my energy, I'm feeling much lighter, now I float on them, I float on them, just float. They hanging on to that goose down in my cup. Float on them, I float on them, just float. I don't step, I don't walk, I don't dance, I just float. Float, float, float. I don't dance, I just float. Float, 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 I just float. I'll wear the tire, check out the robe, I'm fresh like a pope. I'm doing my dance on catamarans and you got a coat. I'm counting my blessings, we ain't stressing, just look at this glow. I got that magic, I'm really prepared for whatever, whenever, so who wants the smoke? Came back from the future to take all y'all niggas and take all y'all wars. They said I was by, yeah baby I'm by a whole nother coast. She stay in the hills, he stay in Atlanta, I pay for them both. My face card don't come with a limit, I swipe it, I spin it, I swear I be doing the most. Float, float on them, I float on them, just float. They hanging on to that goose down in my cup. Float on them, I float on them, just float. I don't step, I don't walk, I don't dance, I just float. Float, float, float. I don't dance, I just float. Float, 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 float.
willing to repeat? Yes. Repeat after me. All right. To the lives we lead. To the lives we lead. To the dreams we chase. To the dreams we chase. To the moments that we make. To the moments that we make. And the picture so we can erase. And the picture so we can erase. Woo!
Talk about the way you wanna be. You don't ever hesitate to say how. All you wanna do is to be with me, taking it all. I wanna be with you till the sun rises. In your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes. I wanna paint the moon with your eyelash. Paint the night, paint the night, paint the night. Lights out. Yeah, yeah. Talk about the way you wanted me. Everything you wanted is about to. I ain't never wanted to compete for you, but you got me like this, and I don't know what to do. I wanna be with you till the sunrise. In your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes. I wanna paint the moon with your eyelash. Paint the night, paint the night, paint the night. Sunrise in your.
Welcome to Cosmic Convos.
Cosmic Convos.
Next to you.
How y'all doing today?
Magnificent.
Magnificent. Give us one moment. We about to start the intro and we'll be. Brought to you by Mother Gaia, the Divine, and
The Elohim Council.
the Elohim Council. Divine evening, everyone. Okay.
And
so
blessings.
this light is
Always
not
with those
giving me
blessings.
what I wanted it to give me. We like got some sunlight, but then we got some artificial light. How we look, y'all? Let us know in the comments. How do we look right now?
I feel like
Y'all
there's-
look fine.
Wait, is there like a shadow around my eyes?
You look like
Yeah.
Zorro.
Okay, cool. Keep it like that. I like that. Y'all good with that? Because it kind of looks like that.
You look like my name is Inigo Montoya.
And
you
now
killed
we're
my
going to
father.
talk about Cosmic Convos on this episode.
Divine evening, everyone.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. What y'all think?
Welcome
That's a
to
good look,
Cosmic
right?
Convos. Yeah, let us know in the comments what y'all think. Is it a good look or do we need some more light in here? Prepare to die. Exactly. Exactly.
You betrayed me for the last time.
Divine evening, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Convos. I'm Ray.
And I'm Sahat.
And we are your favorite spiritual couple. If this is your first, he's got to do the ding every time.
Every time.
You know, also, I want to know in the comments, do y'all think that Sahat should do like
more faces,
voiceovers in that intro, like your favorite spiritual couple, like over the music? Like, do we need, we got some yes.
Oh, okay, cool. that was instant, just like spirit, like, nah, baby, you keep, do that. Okay,
so next time you know what you're yes. Okay.
They're like, can you add more to the intro? Like, we got
you know what your job is. You got to do commentary. Welcome to Cosmic Convos, y'all.
Look, we already flowing in that heart chakra energy, that inner child.
That last song had me jumping too. I want to be with you till the sun goes, or something like that. Welcome to Cosmic Convos. What is the Cosmic Convos, Papas? You want to tell them?
Cosmic Convos is about community coming together, talking about cosmic stuff that we all experience collectively, and be like, oh, I wasn't the only one that be dealing with that.
Yeah.
We out here. And then also having that safe space to do some meditation, some grounding, some rituals that you can take onto and apply to your everyday plasmatic routine. And just be out here flowing in your magnificence. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. So often in the spiritual community, you go through things and often you feel like you're alone, like your family look at you like you crazy, you going through it. And, you know, it's hard for other people to resonate with you because you're just on a higher level of consciousness. So this, like Sahat said, is a safe space for us to come together with, meditations and rituals. I don't know any other community that actually like gives you rituals to do in order to improve your life mentally, physically, and spiritually. So that is what we are here to do. We are your favorite spiritual couple. And thank you so much for being here. It is Third Thursday, which means we open up the community and we post it live on YouTube for people to come in and view and watch and participate. And if you like the community, then you have the opportunity to join from there. So if this is your first time, shout out to you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Welcome. We thank you. We honor you. We see you. And we love you.
Absolutely.
I see you there. I love it. Okay, so first we like to start off with a meditation. Today, the topic is heart chakra. Yeah, let's tell them what we normally do and then let's go into the meditation. So typically we start off with the meditation and then we go into the hot topic and then we open up the floor, allow you guys to speak, questions, shares, whatever. And that part is very important because there are people in the community that learn from you.
Absolutely. And you may have a question or something that you're sharing that someone else is experiencing. So, you know, flowing vicariously through each other because we're all connected.
Yes. And after this meditation, we're going to do a little heart resonance. So we're going to be literally connected energetically as well. So I'm excited about that. And then after we open up the floor, Sahat and I go into a part where we give you a ritual, something that you can apply in your plasmatic or everyday life in order for you to, you know, step into a space of flow, balance, and alignment. So yes, thank you. Meditation.
Yeah, bring us into some heart resonance.
Yeah, I got some music too. So let's make sure we're sharing some sound, which we are. Oh, wait, that's not what I meant. Stop share. Just the sound, Okay. All right. So if you're not driving, if you are somewhere safe, go ahead and sit down and get very comfortable. And I want you to, if you have like sandals or something or slides or flip-flops, take them off and put your feet flat on the ground. If you got shoes on, you ain't got to do all that. Just, you know, put your feet flat on the ground. The intention is everything. And I'm going to play a little frequency that I created that is also Reiki charged. And this is for just like balancing your energies. So just allow the music, allow the frequencies.
So if you feel some tangles in the chakras, that's normal.
I encourage it. Tangles are fully encouraged. And just settle into your energy. And as we breathe fully. Expand your belly, allow the air and the oxygen to go deep into your lower abdomen. And with every breath, allow it to cleanse you. When you exhale, release any heaviness from your day, any tasks left over from work. Release any tension that's either sitting in your emotional body, in your physical body, and in your energetic body. Remember, intention is everything. So when you intend to release, it is. See, you are a divine creator, an extension of Source itself. And in every moment, you are creating. But sometimes life gets too noisy. There's too many things going on. Got the children running around, work, traffic, all of these matrix things that cause congestion in your energy field. This is a moment to let go of all of it. To be here, to be centered, and to be with yourself. So do yourself this justice. And just for a moment, clear your mind and your energy fields of anything that may have taken place today or yesterday, in any time and space. And just focus on that. What sensations do you feel in your body? Is there any heat? Any coolness? Tingling in any particular area? And as you breathe, don't think about anything, just notice. Notice. We're going to sit here for just a couple more moments, being in our physical body, feeling what it feels like just to be the physical manifestation of you in this moment. Find gratitude. Find all the little quirky things that you can be grateful for about yourself. Observe. How are you feeling? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling? And give honor to that, to the tingling, to the tension, to the heat, to the coolness, whatever it is that you're feeling in your body right now. Love it. Honor it. Thank it. For it is serving its purpose. Now, as you're in your own energy, I want you to feel the energy of everyone else in this quantum now. And the quantum now is for those who are watching now and those who are watching later, which is also now in your reality. So therefore, it is quantum. We are all contributing energetically to this same moment. I want you to feel the hearts of the other people who are here right now. We are all connected. I want you to feel them. Bring awareness to them. While also noticing when I say connect to the hearts of others, to the people who are here, what physical sensations are you feeling in your heart chakra? Bring awareness to them. And allow it to soften and soften as you feel the comfort of love from every other person in this circle, in this quantum now. If there was or is any tension in that heart chakra, any resistance at all, allow the love of your tribe, of your community, to soften that heart. Breathe into your heart space right now. As we begin to come out of this meditation, from this moment until the end of Cosmic Convos today, the end of your night, through the night, allow the vibration of love from every person in this circle to continue to soften, to love, and to pour into your heart space. Let's take one final breath together. And allow yourself to come back into the room and to come back into this space. I would love to know what some of your experiences were. What were we feeling? Physically, in the heart, we're talking about the heart chakra specifically, but if you have something else, feel free to bring that up too. You can just unmute yourself and shout it out. What were we feeling?
Hey y'all.
Hey, Chris.
Y'all probably can't see it, but that literally brought like tears to my eyes. Your voice is so soothing, and I I felt like you were speaking to me. It's been a very rough day. And so that was just so calming and so just centered, if you know what I mean. So I really appreciated that. That was powerful.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm glad. I felt that there was some people had some rough days today. I felt that in the energy. I'm not sure exactly who or how many, but I did feel that. So I'm like, okay, let's take a couple minutes here, spend some time here. So thank you for sharing that. It's getting better now.
Grace.
Yeah. And
maximum grace for everything that everyone is experiencing. If you are having some kind of catalyst in your life that making you feel in a lower emotion, just maximum grace, sending that some energy, allowing yourself to feel that energy and keep that energy in motion and release it, not hold on to it. Because a lot of times we become attached to things and attached to the wrong things.
Yeah. In the comments, we have Jennifer. I could feel an energetic pulse in my chest. Ooh, that sounds like, I don't know. I just thought like, you know, the Energizer Bunny, but like it's a heart and it's like pounding on the heart as a drum. You know what I mean? That's what my visual mind just created. I love that. And then Shanella, my stomach has been hurting all day and it just stopped. Oh,
I love that.
Good. Thank divine. We don't need that. Go on, get. But I'm glad you brought that up, love, because sometimes what happens when you have a physical sensation, it's often your energetic system letting you know that something is out of alignment. So if your stomach is hurting, then there was some energy that needed to move there. And so,
trauma.
Yeah. And in this moment, you were able to relax and allow it to just do what it needed to do. So.
And sometimes the energy that we're feeling, like we were just talking about the stomach is where traumatic energy is stored. So it doesn't even have to be in this lifetime. It could be something that happened in a previous lifetime through epigenetics that's coming through, and also coming through in your Akash, which is your soul record. So that energy is presenting itself like, hey, we got this. It's like when you get that error message on your computer and it's like, oh, let me go ahead and debug this. So let me run an antivirus program. We're just clearing out all that unnecessary clutter and energy so that we can flow freely. That energy, we can be our true, authentic, magnificent selves, flowing and enjoying life and going on adventures, whatever that looks like for you.
Yes. Yes.
Just living it to the fullest.
Speaking of which, let's dive into this heart chakra topic. You know, honestly, I be saying this every week, like this is my favorite chakra.
They all the favorites.
This is my favorite one every week. So I love the heart chakra because, you know, I'm just super lovey. You know what I mean? Like, I just love to love.
Right. I'm super lovable and I love to love.
I love.
Me too.
What'd you say?
Sorry. I didn't know I was still off mute. I'm sorry.
You good?
It's okay, girl. But yeah, so the heart chakra. So let's talk about a little bit like, okay, so the heart chakra center, like what is the purpose? It is the love center. And if you know anything about frequencies, we talk about energy a lot in this space because everything is energy, right? So when you talk about the frequency of love, love is everything. Exactly, Charlotte. Love is everything. When you talk about the frequency of love, it is the highest vibrational frequency. And what's awesome about it is when you emit a frequency of love, it affects other frequencies around it, which is like, what? That's crazy. But what happens is, and when you're operating fully in your heart chakra, that is like that full-on inner child. You know, you might be able to experience, or you might experience certain heartaches or anger or physical pain, but you let that out in the moment and then literally let it go. Y'all seen a kid get mad at something and then you give them a lollipop and they literally and then they're happy, right?
Going about the day.
Going like it never happened. You know, just running, skipping along, scampering, you know.
Not attached to that emotion.
Not attached. But what happens is as we, you know, go through life, we experience heartbreak, we experience grief, we experience betrayal, we experience things that, you know, may feel like that wasn't fair, like you should have gotten, you know, and you experience these things and it creates your unconscious mind then creates a bubble to protect you. I say this all the time to my clients, like the same wall that you built to protect yourself is the wall that will imprison you. And the more that we grow up and move away from that inner child space, the more callous we become on the outside. And the more that hardens our heart chakra and stops it from flowing freely, right? So when it comes to healing the heart chakra, all it is stepping back into that space of inner child. But in order to do that, we have to go through forgiveness, we have to find self-love, and we have to learn how to really just balance self, be with self, no matter, oh, okay, thank y'all, everybody. Shout out to everybody who just came in the room. Oh my goodness, like every 5 seconds, like I can't even focus on what I'm talking about. Shout out to all of y'all who just joined us. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you. But yeah, so
keep talking.
Where you going?
I'm looking for the, oh, you got it on your
It's
side.
my show now. Oh.
The charger. I didn't want to disrupt the flow.
Okay. Anyway.
All that energy.
Okay, so I kind of went on a rant. Don't really know where we went off. Thank you for everyone who just chimed in. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting into the spicy topic of the heart chakra. So I would love to ask you guys, like, who is experiencing some heart chakra resistance right now? What is going on? How y'all feeling? Like, drop it in the chat, unmute yourself, whatever you want to do. Let's talk about it. And while y'all do that, so how you want to chime in a little bit?
Absolutely. So, and I love what Russ said, the heart is the master controller of your energetic field, because when we talk about the flow of chakras, like in synchrogalactic yoga, for example, we don't go from top to bottom. We start at the crown and then go to the root chakra, then to the first eye, to the sacral, to the throat, to the solar plexus, and then we end on the heart chakra, because when we end on the heart chakra resonance, we're sending the love that we're sending the energy that we have accumulated in our chakras, and we're sending it out with love to the entire planet to raise the consciousness. Because when one person is operating in pure love, that affects 750,000 people. So we need all y'all.
Say it one more time.
750,000 people.
For the people in the back. One person.
Three quarters of a mil.
Right. Y'all got that many dollars in your bank account? You do, because your love equals that abundance. So.
And also abundance is your birthright.
Right.
I just want y'all to know that. Because spirit wants y'all to know that. So when we end on that heart chakra resonance, it also connects us to the center mental sphere in our mind that connects all other mental spheres. And that central mental sphere connects us to the Hunab Ku, which is the galactic center. That is pure love, that's source, that is creation. That's where we come from. That is the cosmic womb and the energy flowing where we originate from. So it just brings that into that resonance, that pure love, that source is flowing through you. You are source. You are pure love. On a soul level, you are pure and perfect. What we are experiencing, this imperfection, is the human experience. So you are made perfect.
Facts are facts.
Facts are facts.
Facts are facts. It's all about definitions too. Like, what is your definition of perfection? What's awesome is God's definition. Try it again. Take two. God's definition of perfection is imperfection. It's balance. I'm gonna let that marinate.
Yeah, put that in the refrigerator and let that marinate overnight.
Yeah, and then take it out in the rising
and be like, man.
Stir, burr.
Yeah. It's a little stir, burr.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the comments. My heart chakra beats tweaking. 20-minute fast. I'm not playing with you, child. Okay.
Haven't had a good cry in a while. That part. You know what? There's a scene that always hits me in the heart chakra, and it's such a powerful scene. And I know a lot of y'all have seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So the original series with Will Smith.
Yeah.
So there was a scene where
there's a different series.
Yeah, there's a new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I think it's more of like a dramatic series. I haven't watched it, but from the energy, it's like very Gen Z.
Are the children talking about this?
I don't know. No.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay. I believe you. I
Okay.
believe you. So, yeah, his dad was leaving, and he wanted to spend time with his dad. He was like, "Yo, I'll see what I can do." He was like, "Oh, okay."
Of course, Samuel would know what you're talking about.
Right. And so Uncle Phil was he comforted him. He embraced him and held him. And Will was like, just, I don't know why my dad don't love me. And Uncle Phil like felt that, and he just like, he didn't have anything to really like say. He just like held him. And that, I feel that, like when you see that, like it's just like, oh man, that's a good heart opener. Like, you know, like I feel you, man. That's real life.
Especially for the masculine energies, because there's this narrative, and I know who wrote it in the comments is not male, but there's this narrative that men aren't supposed to cry. But physically, you need to cry. And the reason being is because what happens is all the stress, Dr. B. Serious says this all the time, your issue is in your tissues. It gets stored in your tissues, right? Stress, dis-ease, right? All of that stuff becomes a physical manifestation of what started as an energetic misalignment. And when we don't catch the misalignment and we get back into alignment, it begins to grow and build momentum, right? So then it becomes a physical manifestation, gets stored in your tissues. When you cry, those dendrites are being released in your tears, which means you are physically releasing all of those issues that got stored in your physical body, in your cells. So crying is a physical release of any type of stress. So when people like, I'm fighting back and holding back tears, like you're doing yourself a disservice.
You let it flow.
Because the more you keep it in, it's going to build more and more momentum for the dis-ease creating in your physical body.
And when you think about it, being vulnerable takes strength. So holding that in is not, that's not a sign of strength. That's a sign of imbalance. Like, hey, you need to learn how to communicate to someone, to yourself. Communicate to yourself first, and then you can communicate to others more effectively.
It could also be a sign of programming too. Where were you programmed? Like if you're programmed that crying equals weakness, then you think that not crying makes you strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then you bottle all that up, and it comes out, and it flows like a dam bursting.
Now, I would like to talk about like heartbreak and trust when it comes to the, no, you don't want to talk about that? No. All right. Well, forget about it. No, we gotta talk about it. because that is an easy way to block the heart chakra. When you've been hurt by somebody, when you were vulnerable and you put yourself out there, you were out on the line, and then they hurt you. Now you never want to give it to anyone else ever again, right? Drop a 1 in the chat if you can relate.
Y'all don't have to raise your hands on this, because I know this is personal, but for anybody, male or female, who has experienced a miscarriage in their life, that can be extremely traumatic. And that's not something that really anybody has done, but it's something that weighs. And a lot of times that doesn't get communicated in an effective manner. So when that happened to me in my early 20s, the person that I was with at the time blamed herself. And at the time, I had actually moved away from Indianapolis to Gary to take care of my grandmother. So I was about 2-3 hours away from her. And when she told me she was pregnant, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm about to stack up my money. Well, I'm gonna move back down there. I'm gonna get my grandmother right. I'm gonna move back down there and we're gonna make this work. We were both excited. And 7 months into the pregnancy, the baby got wrapped up in the umbilical cord. So it was like nothing that anybody did. It was one of those catalysts. And that was a catalyst for me, because that hurt me for a minute. I didn't want to be close to anybody, because I'm like, okay, so that happened to me. Like, what did I do to deserve that? And that affected our relationship. She blamed herself, and she went like recluse, and we didn't even talk anymore after that. So I got closure from that. And I'm not sure if she did, but I've always sent energy to her for that, because that was some heavy energy that we both experienced. So that is something. Not everything that is heart related involves somebody doing something to you. It's just that vulnerable moment when something or someone that you love, that you experience that with, and that is, I'm not going to say taken away, but it's shifted from the physical, or shifted from our perspective into something else. Because in the grand scheme, that was meant to happen as a catalyst. That spirit chose that path. We all choose the path that we're on. We all choose how we come into the world and how we leave. Everything in between is, now we can change that, and it takes intention and willpower. You have to know, like, you know what? I said I was going to transition like this, but I'm actually just going to ascend. So I'm going to just do that.
Yeah.
You know, anybody,
super common situation.
Super common. Like, I know a lot of y'all be like, you know what? I'm just going to ascend, because I know a lot of y'all be like, I ain't coming back to this planet. So that means you're going to have to ascend.
It can be carried over from previous lifetimes or from ancestors. It may have nothing to do with this lifetime at all. Mm-hmm. That is such an amazing point, Russ. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, in your DNA holds information from lifetimes. Your Akash can be accessed through your DNA. It's amazing. I think they took like a, I can't remember the measurement, but it was like a little drop of DNA, and they measured how much information can be stored in that. And I think it was like a computer's worth of information in a drop of DNA. And
I want to say it's at least a terabyte.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm not like super, he's more techie than me, so he could probably tell you the little measurements. But I was reading it, and it was like a drop of DNA can hold like a computer's worth of information. And so your DNA does. And so even though we physically come into this world not necessarily knowing what happened in our past lives, your DNA remembers.
Your DNA is very multidimensional, because encoded is the information for the blueprints and templates for perfect health. You have your Akash, you have your higher self, you have your inner child, you have your guides and your angels, which are also aspects of yourself that are assisting you in an energetic form. you have
ancestors.
you have your
But
ancestors.
you got your divine ancestors, because there's a difference. You don't call on every ancestor.
And then you have that God within you, and your soul, and all of that is stored. The information is stored in your DNA, but because it's so multidimensional, it's not all just sitting within your DNA. It's also outside of ourselves, but it's also within. So there's layers to each and every one of us.
I love what best friend just said. That makes sense. There are times when I feel really connected and super emotional to things that I do not understand. I feel like it's my ancestors, whomever they may be. I love that, because your specific situation, you might not know, you don't know your ancestors, and a lot of people in this world don't, and so in that space, it's like, well, what do you do? So I'm grateful that you're here and that you have, gone through the course, about energetic frequencies and how to manipulate them, and you have tools, because when you tap into that energetic alignment and you learn how to clear away certain energies, when you feel something, like feeling the sensations that we did in the meditation. For those of you who came in a little late, during the meditation, I asked you to feel what sensations your body is feeling. A lot of people skip over that. Unless it's painful, people don't pay attention to sensations in their body. But everything is communication, right? So when you learn, like, okay, something is feeling off within me, and you guys can't see my other hand, but it's like on my solar plexus. This is how I check in. I put one hand here and I put one hand here. And I just take a breath. And even though you might not know where it's coming from, you can feel where there is a misalignment when you are tapped in energetically to your body. So when you feel that, that is when you start to use your tools on how to come out of it, right? Okay, I'm feeling like a tightness in my heart chakra right now. It makes me feel anxiety, right? So feel the sensations, bring awareness to the sensations, and then what emotion is attached to those sensations. That's a very important component, okay? What are the sensations and what emotion is attached? Oh, I got tingles. That makes me feel kind of excited, right? Or I feel a coolness. It makes me feel very calm and relaxed. All of this has meaning. And then once you know what you're feeling and how you're feeling, then you can go back into alignment. So that is a perfect way to transmute energy, and by changing your emotional and physical state. Yeah, I think I kind of went on a tangent there. But yes, when you change your physical and emotional state, emotions are just energy in motion. So you're just moving the energy to a higher vibrational frequency. Does that make sense?
That makes that makes sense to me.
Awesome.
I like to honor Brother Samuel. He's talking about my shirt powers up his heart chakra. And so I got this, I wore this for y'all because we talking about inner child, and it's Goku versus Superman, because it's like that needs to happen. But for all those people that know,
I think Shanella said something about being into all of that. Drop a heart in the chat if you with us.
She's about that life. And I know I see some of y'all smiling like, I'm about that life. Like, okay, I know who y'all are. I see y'all. Inner child.
Let's see who is Zoom user. Hey, sir. Hey, go ahead, drop your name in the chat. We want to talk to you because we see you seeing us. So all right, so heartbreaks and soul ties, y'all. We got to kind of go a little faster because I just looked at the time. I was like, oh man, we could keep going for hours. Heartbreaks and soul ties.
All right, I'm gonna jump in here. Can y'all hear me all right?
We can.
Is that all right? All right, good evening, family. I want to talk about my first heartbreak since we're talking about heart chakras. And I was 16, I'm 45 now. So I'm Monique the coach. I teach women how to identify their blind spots in order to attract their forever person.
Mm.
So now, when I was 16, I want to say my first love or my first boyfriend, I don't know what happened and we broke up or we split or he broke up with me, but I remember feeling like I was dying. And I remember being on the floor and my cousin was here. She was with me and I was like holding my solar plexus. And I was rolling around and I was like, please make it stop, make it stop. And I was crying so hard. And I remember after getting up from that, I said, I will never give anyone access to me in that way. And so I have lived my life all of those years from 16 to 45 with a complete wall. So much so that I don't know that it can be penetrated. Like I'm married and I still have that wall. And there are times when my husband is talking or reaching out to me and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's being vulnerable and he's crying and I'm just like, I got nothing. And I know that it relates to that time. My great grandmother passed away when I was 19. And when I saw her declining, I avoided visiting. I was her favorite grandchild, was her oldest. I mean, there are many behind me, but she was looking for me and she was going down the path of, I want to say Alzheimer's or dementia. And I was just like, no. And my cousins were like, Grandma is looking for you. And I was like, nope, no thanks. And I have such a block in all this plaque and decay around my heart chakra. And I'm just like, y'all can't get in here because I can't get in. So no. And I have my altar. I talk to my ancestors. I do my meditation. I have my clients. I do all the things. And I still have that wall there. And I'm like, when I feel someone like a little bit creeping in, I'm like, I gotta go. And I put my sneakers on and I run because I'm not doing that. I'm not ever going there again. So help me, my favorite spiritual couple.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
First off, Monique, I love
Thank
your
you.
ABC statement. And second, thank you for being so vulnerable and for sharing. I feel like there are so many people in this room right now, in this space right now, that resonate with what you said on multiple levels, on grief and losing people in our family and on heartbreak.
And having that wall up.
Yeah. So absolutely, we will help you. And in that, I want to give you a little bit of vulnerability on my end as well. When Akia and I first met, we had an amazing conversation about like what my purpose here is. And one thing is, ever since we met, I felt this like, where is you going? Because you ain't going nowhere. Like, I felt this like immense pull towards Sahat. Now, let me tell you, I'm gonna draw back the curtain a little bit. We haven't always been just like your favorite spiritual couple. We've gone through some things too. As a matter of fact, we were separated for like 7 months in between our relationship. And that was my hands on my solar plexus rolling on the floor moment. That was my moment. But I had to do my own work, forgiveness, healing. I did a womb activation to really step into my femininity again. Because for whatever reason, and I'm gonna just speak on the woman's side, when women go through something traumatic like that, like, we need to be back in our, you know what I mean? Like, we got to go out there, you know, got to get my body right. Somebody was like, who was it? Shan's was talking about the other day, like, y'all go vegan, like, you got to cut your hair. Like, you know, Stella got a groove back. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was really in my me space, and I was really pouring and pouring and pouring into myself. But one thing is, you miss every shot you don't take. And like I said earlier, when you build a wall to protect yourself, that same wall imprisons you. And I was in a Zoom today with Dean Graciosi, and I absolutely love him. If y'all don't know who he is, he's like a marketing guru. Check him out. And if you got a digital product, he is also an amazing coach for that too. So yeah, I was on a Zoom with Dean Graciosi today, and he did the end of your life check. He asked us, if it was the end of your life, what would you regret? And if not loving fully or keeping myself so protected and separated from other people just to protect myself from feeling pain again, pain is what makes it worth it. Unfortunately, because you know what it feels like to lose. So therefore you appreciate when you have it even more. I think a lot of people are afraid of that painful part. So they do everything they can to stay away from it. But in staying away from the pain, you are holding yourself away from pleasure too. So just let that marinate and just know that it's okay to feel the pain. And just, yeah, breathe it out. And when you do feel it, when it comes back up, you have to let it out. It's energy, right? Energy in motion. But if you let it sit, if you hold it in, if you push it back, it's not going to be able to move out of you. You said that there was callus around and plaque.
Yeah, plaque
around your heart chakra. We got to chip that plaque away, you know? And so the only way is in being vulnerable. You have to find the strength. And I know it's like so easy. It's like, well, okay, find strength in being vulnerable. You could say that, but what does that mean? What does that mean? It means be comfortable with your feelings. Have them, express them, let them out, move them, right? And get hugs. Get you some, you know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like I need to hug you right now. Yes.
Yeah, come through.
Come here. We are hugging you right now because there is something, your heart is a transmitter, right? So like I said earlier at the beginning, when you, and Sahat said this too, when you vibrate at a frequency of love, it affects other frequencies around you. It's like crazy. So if you just hug someone and you get that heart to heart, and when you do it, what is it? What shoulder is this?
The left.
Okay, yeah, over the left shoulder, because then it's heart chakra to heart chakra, right? A lot of people naturally hug over the right shoulder. But if you hug over the opposite shoulder, it's heart chakra to heart chakra. And like your husband, you say you're married, right? You just say your husband. Go to your husband after this or whenever he get home or whatever. After this, go to him, heart chakra to heart chakra. Don't even say nothing. Just let him hold you for like 2 minutes. Like set a timer if you want to. 2 minutes and just be there with him. Be vulnerable. Just connect heart to heart. Okay. Was that helpful?
Oh, beyond helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
And there's the energy that we experience in our past. We can always go back and change that energy, that narrative. So you can when you're like meditating, you can visualize that younger version of yourself that's going through that heartache, and just go up to her and give her a hug and be like, baby, it's okay. Like, let that out.
Don't wait. You giving away the that's the ritual, y'all. Hold on. We gonna go through it. We gonna go through it. We gonna go through it. Yeah. You get too spicy.
Yeah. Okay. You know, I like getting spicy.
Thank you, Monique.
Yeah, you gonna get it later. Don't worry about it.
We love you. All right, Mr. Heatley. What's up, brother?
How you flowing?
Man, I'm flowing wonderfully. Folks, how y'all be? How y'all feeling?
Utterly fantastic.
Magnificent, you know, out here.
Yeah, I do know. Y'all are awesome, man. Y'all are awesome.
Thank
So
you.
my question is, so my growth and my journey in life has brought me a really, really long way. The smiling face that y'all see every day is a complete 180 of what I used to be for, I'd say, about at least 4, maybe 5 years ago. For a really long time, I was a very hurt and angry person. I didn't necessarily take it out on people, but when I had the opportunity to, I was like a kettle pot, and it didn't take much. It was 0 to 100 with
Real
no
quick.
problem, and
Yeah.
no, didn't care about the repercussions. It wasn't important. I just knew that it was dealt with, and whatever came with it came with it. I was cool with it. I was cool facing it. But now the journey that I'm on has taken my life in a direction to where I would say in the workforce, I'm not really employable. And I don't understand why. You know, I go in, I do exactly what I'm supposed to do, when I'm supposed to do it. I over deliver, at least I think so anyway. But for whatever reason, every time it doesn't, and honestly, every time I go somewhere different, the time spent there is shorter and shorter. You know, so it went from 4 years to 3 years to 2 years to 1 year. And, you know, and I do everything I can to make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do, but for whatever reason, I'm always looked at some type of way, and I can never put my finger on it. You know, I'm not sure if this may be my interactions, because who y'all see on the call is what I give to people when I'm out, whether I'm at work or whatever the case may be here recently. And I don't understand why that is. And if I am unemployable, then cool. I just want to figure out what it is or where it is or what it is that I need to find in myself to put myself in a position to where I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do for me in my business, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm sensing a little conflict here. One has to do with being employable, but then the other one has to do with who you present yourself to be in front of others. So let me ask you this.
Sure.
What do you want?
Oh, I want to be successful. I don't really want the job. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I don't desire it at all. I mean, I'll do it because I have to, because I mean, you know, until the business gets going like I want it to, you know, I have to have some sort of income coming in, because, you know, my lifestyle isn't set up for me to be zero income. You know what I mean? Like that's not how life works. You know what I mean? Like I got kids, I got a wife, like I got things, I got responsibilities and people that I have to take care of and provide for like I'm supposed to.
So,
But go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the conflict is there. So you're in the morning meetup, so you hear us talk about be, do, have all the time.
For sure.
Your being, you believe yourself to be this entrepreneur, and there's a conflict within you that's like not allowing jobs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow.
And it's something to do in your belief systems, and we might have to do a separate session to really dive deep into the neuro-linguistic programming that you have about your perception about a job. But I think the true thing here is, what is the difference between who you present yourself to be and who you really are?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe I present myself as someone that's about his business, someone that's definitely going to do what needs to be done to make sure that I succeed in whatever that looks like. In my personal life, I believe I'm a very loving person, but I do have a bad habit of sometimes when things aren't necessarily going the way I want them to go or moving as fast as I would like them to, sometimes the ugly side does come out, and unfortunately it comes out on the people that I love the most, and that I'm not proud about. I will be 100% transparent on that, because I'm not perfect. I am under construction 100%, but I embrace the process. I embrace the journey. I understand what it is. And like I said, I feel like I've come a long way from where I used to be, but that alter ego in me sometimes is like, hey dude, we need a release. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not easy keeping him at bay. It really isn't. But we both have the same goal in mind. It's just different ways about going about doing it. You know what I mean? And that's what I meant where when I came down there to Atlanta and met everybody, like, you guys have no idea how much y'all filled my cup. Like, I came back home on a whole nother wavelength. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I meditate before I go to sleep. I started back working out again, and it's helping. It's helping a lot. It's helping me with my perspective on life. It's helping me find my inner peace. But every now and again, that switch a flip, and sometimes it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, it's, I'll be super cool like 1 minute, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? And it's and I do my best. I do my best. I can do better. I can do better. But it's a journey, man. It just is. It's just a journey. And but in my work life, I feel like I present myself as a very respectable, very honest person. And like I said, I go about my business the same way, whether it's entrepreneurial or I'm at work. I feel like I go about my business the same way. But there's something that employers see in me or about me that they don't embrace or don't like or not a fan of, and they don't know how to say it because they can never give me an answer when it's just time to go our separate ways. They never have an answer. They never have an answer as to why. It's just, nah, this ain't gonna work. Mind you, I'm still performing at a high level no matter where I'm at. And that's not a a gloat or me being full of myself. It's just the facts based on the numbers.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Heart is a transmitter. So if you're applying to jobs but your heart's not in it, whether if the employers consciously know it or not, their hearts are picking up the frequency that your heart is emitting.
Especially in this new energy, because I know everyone in some kind of way has felt a shift in energy, a shift in consciousness, a shift in how people move and think since, let's say, 2012. Since energetically we've entered these celestial alignments in space and all this. So when you are experiencing that resistance, but you're still going like, I'm gonna still apply for this job, because I've done that. I've applied for jobs, and I've been that person where I've applied. I used to be able to apply to like 1 or 2 jobs, be like, you know what, I'm gonna get those 2 jobs because I'm manifesting them. And I've gotten to that point where feeling unemployable because I'm like, I am too big to be in a job. but sometimes you got to do what you have to do in the moment. It's just a stepping stone, and seeing like, okay, you know what? I may not want to do this, but this is going to benefit me. And how can I shift that energy into, okay, you know what? This may not be something I want to do long term, but this is something that will get me where I need to be in the long term. And just using this as a stepping stone, and like, okay, so I'm going to give myself X amount of time at this job, stack up, and then I'm going to invest, or I'm going to do this in my business, and pivot like that. So I infinitely feel you on that resistance of working, because I've met you in person. Your magnificence exudes through you, brother. So you being an employee, that's not in your Akash.
That's like
You got that warrior chief spirit. Like you mean you can talk. Like you know your ancestors.
You got main character energy, but you're trying to be a supporting character in your own movie.
Got you. Got you. I understand.
But in a space where, like, if you need a job, and we went through this last year, like we took a pause on Cosmic Convos. I played human for a while and worked for FedEx.
We both did.
we were playing Matrix for a minute. And that's fine if you have to do what you have to do. But I also, in that space, every single day, I found a reason to be grateful for the opportunity for that job. You know, that heart resonance, that frequency that's emitting from your heart is what's going to attract things for you, right? If deep down in your heart, you're like, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? They're going to pick up on that energy at the interview. Something's going to happen. Someone else is going to be, because it's not an energetic match.
Well, that's the thing. So like in the interview, they love me. Like in an interview, they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? But over time, at least a year, I give everybody a year inside it, because it's a pattern. You know what I'm saying? So I win them in the interview, and then after about a year, all of a sudden, and it's not the people that's around me, it's always the supervisors or whoever. You know what I'm saying? It's always whoever's supposed to be above me, supposedly, right? And then it's like, you know, all of a sudden it's the conversations become shorter. You know, the distance becomes even greater. You know what I mean? It's more of, you know, like almost like they'd rather not be around me, but they'll tolerate me because of the performance level. It's more of a I'm tolerated, but not necessarily wanted. You know what I mean?
I would love to do an NLP session with you, because I feel
Me
like
too.
there's somewhere in your brain, in your belief systems, that are contradicting. That's what that's saying to me.
Okay.
Because when people mirror your energetic frequency. So when people start distancing themselves from you, there's something going on internally that's causing them to do that. So let's talk outside of this. I would love to, because it would take time to really, we would have to go through a whole session.
I'm cool with it. I'm down. I'm cool with it. I need answers, man. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Like I'm at a crossroad where I'm like, you know what? Look, I don't have the answer, and I'm not about to sit here and pretend like I do. But I'm going to have conversations with people, and when I feel like I trust someone enough to open up to, that I feel like they would be able to give me some real honest answers and not have an ulterior motive, then cool, I'm willing to do that. That's one of the main reasons why I told y'all, like I was super excited to be able to connect with you, because I felt that energy, like from the word go. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing y'all on Zoom was one thing, but when I met you guys in person, like, it was totally different. You know what I mean? You get the real vibe. You feel the real genuine, you know, love, and not necessarily, okay, you know, what can I get from this person? It wasn't a what can I get from that person. It was more of a, you know, I rock with you because I rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And that I appreciate, because I haven't been around that, and I'll be honest, years. Like, no, dead ass. I don't even know how else to say it. I ain't been around that in years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been a really, really long time. You know, it get lonely on that island. You know what I'm saying? And you figure out a way to push, you know, and you figure out a way to make it regardless or in spite of. And my thing is I just dive into me and do what I need to do until whoever it is that needs to be around reveals itself. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I go with it. But I don't want to take too much time.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate your contribution. And also, thank you for sharing, because I think we got people in the comments that are resonating with you too. They feel that conflict in energy. And so what that says is that there's just a little disconnect in that belief system. So if you resonate with what he said, just DM us separately and let's set up a consultation call and we'll figure out what's going on there. Okay, thank you, Robert. Appreciate you.
Cool. No problem. Thank you, guys.
We're gonna connect.
Yes, indeed.
Hello, my beautiful favorite spiritual couple. How are y'all doing? Oh my goodness.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, can we just talk about, can we honor you for a minute? You just look like a total goddess right now. You're just giving.
I'm in my pajamas.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I will be a goddess.
You see you. You look regal. You look so regal. Okay, continue.
Out here, elegant.
Like, I was like, let me put this robe on, get on this call.
Royal PJs, exactly. Rich on tea, right?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I have to ask your permission if I could say something to Robert, because I don't like to come on someone else's call and jump in. And if Robert's okay, I could say something to him.
Yeah, I'm cool. Go ahead.
All right,
if y'all don't mind.
I'm like sitting there listening to you explain the story. And as you explain it, I kept seeing the humor in it, because you're like an eagle trying to hang out with pigeons. And the only people that's getting all bent out of shape over you, like you said, are these supervisors, because they think you come in for their spots. They're threatened by you, my brother. And that's why it doesn't last. So you either have to, like you say, I know you go in there and you work hard and you got a really big personality, but you've got to go after even being bigger, because you are constraining and restraining. It's like you got yourself in a pressure cooker and everybody could sense it around you. And I've had a similar problem where, you know, people that are in charge get intimidated by me. So I could see where you're coming from. So, you know, start looking at that. So it might not be that you have to get the job. It's like you might have to be in charge, because the people that are in charge already see you and they're threatened by you. So that's part of what you're dealing with. And definitely get with Ray and Sahat and let them do some NLP to, you know, make sure you get all that wiring straightened out. Okay. But that's a big thing, because I'm like, oh my God, he's just threatening the heck out of these people just with your presence. You're not even doing that. You're trying to, I'm not an eagle, and they're like, no, we're pigeons.
Yeah, man, it's tough, man. It is. It's tough to deal with mentally, you know.
Yeah,
like
you're bigger than you're playing, and that's what it is. You're playing a smaller game for a very big person. You've got a big spirit, and you're trying to, you know, shrink it down. You know, like my guides came and said to me today, don't be basic. You know, you're trying to.
Yeah. For sure, man. I appreciate that.
My goodness. Yeah, I had a good chuckle because I kept hearing your people talking, and I'm like, oh my God, that's too funny. So I've had the same advice. So I see where you're coming from. You know, so definitely get with your favorite spiritual couple. They'll get you straightened out. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And what I had to say until Robert started talking, and I was laughing at what I kept hearing about him, was that Coach Monique, I could so relate to everything she's saying. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the disappointment from people, and I could totally relate to what she was talking about. But I also got that the reason why it's so hard, because we could intellectually know that we're holding back. Like she's realized, hey, this happened to me at 16, I'm 45, I still can't let go of it. So she has probably in her mind tried to get rid of it, and so have I. And that's why I said I could relate to what she's saying, because I've done the same thing, put up the walls around your heart, you know, get tough, do all of that stuff. And I just heard that the reason why is because it's actually a pain body that you're dealing with. Then there's nothing rational about a pain body at all. It's something that's energetic. It's Eckhart Tolle came up with that in The Power of Now. He spoke about, you know, how we have these pain bodies and people think the pain body is bad, but it's really not bad. It's something that's there to protect you and to keep you safe. And it gets so good, your pain body, that it takes on a mind of its own. So your intellectual mind is going, I know I have this problem, I could identify it, but your pain body is going like, no, we're not doing that. So all of a sudden, your pain body becomes like your own Secret Service detail. And don't care, you could be the president, they don't care what you got to say, they're there to protect you. So it's like your pain body decides, hey, there's some danger, I'm not letting anybody in the White House, and you're not going outside of the White House. And that's what, so it's a very irrational thing. And it's a really, really, it's not that difficult. You could just talk to your pain body and tell it to stand down.
How are you?
To disengage.
Okay, thank you.
So that's what I was getting, because I was like, yeah, I get the heart wall, I get the blocks around the heart, I get the heartache, but why is it so hard to clear? Because it's not your mind and it's not your body at this point. It's a whole nother entity that you have created called your pain body that wants to release, that needs to be released. It needs to be told, you've done a great job. I appreciate you so much for all the hard work you've done all these years keeping me safe. And now it's time that I need you to disengage like you disengage a military detail, because that's what it's there for. And it's just doing its job. So a lot of times we don't recognize it. And tonight was the first time I got this big aha. Your heart is so important, because without a heartbeat, you're dead. Right? You're no longer alive. You're no longer in this physical body. So your heart is so important. You cannot live without it. I mean, your brain could be damaged and part of it not there, and you could still function, but you can't without your heart. There's, you know, we could say someone's brain dead, but you've never heard of anybody saying heart dead. That just means dead. You know, so it's one of the most important organs in your body, and it's consciously one of the most important centers in your body also. So, you know, your pain body is like protected at all costs. Even in Chinese medicine, we call it the emperor. So you protect it at all costs. And, you know, you'd have to just have a discussion with your pain body. And thank you so much, pain body. You've done a great job. You've been protecting me. I no longer need the service anymore. It's time. You could disengage. You could stand down now and just breathe and do your meditations around it. That's what I had to share tonight. Thank you all.
Absolutely. I love that,
Yes.
Akia. And you're absolutely right. Like that, you create a whole separate entity due to that part of your brain that is created to protect you. That's all it is. It's protecting you, but is it really protecting you though? You know, and so, I mean, thank you. And also, is that all you did to get rid of your, I guess, would you say blockage? Did you just tell that part of yourself to leave and to disengage, and you're fired and thank you?
Let me unmute. Yeah, that was pretty much it. You're the one that actually put it in place. Like Monique talked about her heartbreak at 16. So at 16, there was a part of herself that says, never again. I am not going through this. This is it. I'm not doing this ever again. And she created that separate entity of herself, another aspect of herself, which is that pain body. And we've all done it. And so it protects us, it blocks us, but then we're trying, you know, in our mind and within ourselves, within our bodies to get rid of it. And we haven't told it, hey, it's time for you to stand down now. And you have to talk to that pain body and let it know. And that's pretty much it. The reason why that came up, the first creation class that I ever taught back in, I think 2012 or something, 2012, 2013, I can't remember the exact date. But the night before the class, I got the message, go read up on the pain body. And I had to pull out the Power of Now and read everything he had to say. And he said a lot about the pain body there. So it's not just that you have a personal pain body, you have an ancestral pain body, you have a pain body that surrounds the family. You have a cultural pain body, you have a national pain body. So there's pain bodies on many levels. Women have their own pain body that has to do with, you know, the treatment of women throughout the century. Men have their own. So a lot of times, like you see a couple together and they're arguing and they're fighting with each other. It's like, let's say, for instance, Ray and Sahat has left the building, their pain bodies are talking to each other now. So that's why it's so irrational, it doesn't even make sense. And you're like wondering, like, why did we go there? Like, what was that all about? Is that your pain body's like, hey, I'm here to defend you. So you step back, Ray, Sahat, step back, we've got this. And your pain body jumps in it, but it's an irrational thing. But you've got to talk to just an entity that you've created to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And it does a good job. I mean, it's doing its job.
While we have you, Akia, because I know that you specialize in acupuncture, and as well, I mean, you're a doctor, so we'll just honor your doctorness for a moment. Let's say someone has a physical manifestation in their heart, their physical heart, right, of you know, blockage. Let's say they're going through, and now they have that physical heart dis-ease, right? We'll say dis-ease. How would you, what would you say to them coming from like a medical standpoint, and, you know, with your expertise in energy work too, but from a medical standpoint, like, what would you say to someone who has physically created that for themselves?
Okay, so one, I'd have to know more information. That's number one. It's like what's caused it, where did it come from? Is it in the family? So I have to know their history, medical history from their family and all of that type of stuff to really assess where it's coming from. Because it could be a lot of different reasons as to why the person has a heart disease. Most of the heart disease that I do see, let's say culturally, within our culture, as a people, is that it's lifestyle. You know, people think there's genetics involved. There are some genetics, but a lot of it has to do with lifestyle choices, what you're eating and how you're managing your stress and how well you're sleeping or not sleeping. And, you know, like the 4 pillars that allow you to be healthy. And the only reason why I came up with 4 pillars that allow people to be healthy, because when people came to me sick and they started to heal, I noticed they had the same 4 exact patterns. It didn't matter what their disease was. The first thing they would say that they slept better after treatment. The next thing, they were more active. They were able to move around and be more active. So that was the next thing that I noticed. They had a more, like you said, mindset change. They became much more positive about their mindset. And for whatever reason, they were feeling better. So they ate better also. They started to appreciate taking care of themselves. So it was always sleep, movement, some form of exercise, nutrition, and mindset. And those 4 pillars, as long as those were there, you're like a table, have 4 legs, you were pretty stable, you're healthy. So I would have to see where on those 4 pillars the person is having a deficit, because one of those legs are missing for you to have disease in any part of your body. And we're not even talking about, it could be spiritual, it could be like epigenetic, something in your generation. It could also be hereditary. So we'd have to see what it is. So it's a kind of hard question to just, you know, say it's this or it's that without knowing more information.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and the person who we were asking for picked up what we just did. So you guys connect. They know who they are. They're going to reach out to you. You guys connect. And I think that would be a great resource for you there.
Absolutely.
Boom. Thank you,
Thank you
Akira.
for sharing. Yes. Just come through. Thank you, Spirit.
Yes. All right.
Come on down, Yola.
Can I read? Where is it at?
Hey,
It's because your camera's not on. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I am sorry. I'm like half asleep right now as we speak, and I hope I could convey this properly. So I resonated with Robert because I have similar issues where I had to unlearn a lot of things that I learned from, birth and where I'm from. And now for me, it's troubling for me to think that I have to spend my time in somebody office. By the way, I don't have filter when I'm tired, so sorry. So I must spend my good time in somebody office for an hour for like $16 an hour, when I know there's a plethora and an abundance that you can make within that time. It pissed me off. And then I understand like circumstances and things in life happen and you have to be humble and all that. I did that already. So it's not that I'm not unaware and that you have to get a job and it's what you have to do. You have to do what you have to do. And you have 2 kids. Yeah. Did it, done it. And it still ended me up in a bad space. So my whole thing is I felt like I wasn't being true to myself. And that's part of the issue because I know I have bigger fish to fry. Also, it's like, I'm so sick of the less than mentality. Growing up, everybody is always saying, at least you have a roof over your head. At least you have food in your belly. At least, everything is the least. It's never the most. It's never, more. And it's frustrating. My circumstance now, because I lost my brother, is bad. So everybody's like telling me, oh, just get something, get anything. Why don't you just Uber, do this? It's not like I didn't try. I didn't say I didn't try. I've been trying, but somehow there is a disconnect. I agree. But when I see, and no disrespect to anybody, sometimes you have the other counterparts, they will come together and collaborate and come up with a crazy scheme and make money. And is online doing a podcast or something or doing some video and it goes viral and they make tons of money. It's possible. David Shands created a platform and he's on for an hour and he makes money. It's possible. Why is it that I need to go somewhere and make $16 an hour? And then today I had an interview and the lady had the audacity to tell me, oh, well, are you sure that you want this position? Because, you have to be quite positive because they don't want anyone who just wants a job or, a contract. Also, if you want an extra pay, it's going to be $19.50 because you have your bachelor's. But if you don't, it's going to be $18.50. So it's $1 difference. So I spent 4 or 5 years in college and how much thousands of dollars? Pissed me off. So I'm sorry. And I apologize, but it's frustrating to me. So that's why I need to find something else. I want to collaborate with great minds. I want to break the mold and do what is unheard of. I met somebody who knows how to create apps. And I was like, well, God gave me a couple of ideas on apps. Why can't we work together and make it, blow up or something? Like, stop telling me to go get some mediocre job that's not going to give me any money and it's still not going to keep the roof over me and my kid's head. That's all I have to say.
I love your speech, mother.
Yeah.
Hey, come through, Spirit.
Yeah, come on. Let's give it up real quick.
From the mouth of the children.
Right. Tap into that heart chakra, that inner child. First of all, Yola, thank you so much for sharing, because a lot of entrepreneurs, especially early in the game, feel and resonate with you. Okay. And I really think that maybe this needs to be a different Cozmic Convo session where we talk about breaking free from this financial matrix, because what's happening is there is a conflict in your mind and in your belief system based upon what you believe to be true and what you believe yourself capable of, or what you believe you deserve based upon whatever situation is going on around you or based upon whatever. And there's this back and forth between the conscious and unconscious mind, because your conscious mind understands that it is possible. I see Shands do this. I see people making millions of dollars every day on YouTube. It's possible. Your conscious mind believes that. But if your unconscious mind doesn't have examples or proof, you need that social proof for your unconscious mind to believe in what your conscious mind is telling you, right? So that disconnect right there is going to keep the manifestation from coming. And so back to you and the Robert Healy example about like, maybe you'll get a job, but you lose it real quick, or your heart's not in it. That conflict right there is like, either you need the money or you don't. If you don't need them little pennies, then, allow yourself to make more money. But what's happening is, because you're coming from a space right now where you need a job, like you're coming from a space of need, like I need it. Like think energetically what that means. When you need something, that means you are lacking it, right? So if you need a job or you need money, it means you're lacking it right now, right? When you have that little $16 an hour job and you save a little bit, you save a little bit, you save a little bit, even though they're paying you pennies, just the action of saving will create momentum. And that is the psychology of money. It then accumulates over time and it builds and grows. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, right? Even though you started from a small pot. Now, so when it comes to like jobs and things like that, I had to put, last year I went through a whole crisis. I had to put my pride down in order to take a job again, in order to do exactly what I just told you, which ended up purchasing my hour ticket to the morning meetup, which gave us a sea of opportunities, an ocean of opportunities, right? So there are benefits in doing the things that we really don't want to do, but because you don't want to do it and you don't want to go through it, and you know you're worth more, and you know you deserve more, and all of this stuff going on in your head, you're holding yourself back from the manifestation because you're not really willing to just like, okay, I'm going to give up all that. I'll put my pride down. I'm going to do what it takes for now and create an exit strategy to get out of it later.
Let me ask you something, Yola. Is there something that you want to do that scares you?
Yes, I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to speak to kids, and I want to get my book into schools all over the world.
You need to be doing that. If that scares you, you need to be doing that. And the reason I say that is because the things that challenge us the most is where the most growth comes from. So speaking from experience, because you and I are in similar boats on working on something that we're not familiar with. You was talking about doing them apps. Go get them apps done, go do that motivational speaker and get your book out there. And that's something you haven't done in this lifetime. And it seems scary because it's uncharted waters. But someone has to be that first person that goes out there and discovers, quote unquote, that new place, that new land for you to thrive and grow and flourish on. And that's what you're doing. You're going into these uncharted waters, and you don't know what's out there, but you know something is out there for you. And it's that fear that can block us, but it's also that fear that when we embrace it, it brings that courage. It allows for that strength to develop because you've conquered that fear. So you're doing something that's like, man, this seems really big. Like, is this big enough? If it doesn't feel big enough, you need to do something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with your energy. You got main character energy too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
We're going to do a whole, after we do the chakras, the next episode we'll do is like break free from the matrix or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll go deep on this topic. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, brother Samuel. Bring your Dragon Ball Z energy up to the forefront.
Greetings, everyone. Do we have enough time? I know you got the dope ritual coming, so I don't want to, it'll take up too much time. Hello, everyone. It's good to be back on Cozmic Convos. For those familiar with the platform and program, you may be familiar with me. I'll be transparent and vulnerable. I've been away for the last about 2.5 months because I myself have been going through health opportunities, had some serious health challenges. And it's funny because one of the main ones that have manifested is manifested around I just read what Coach Monique said, smooth R&B voice. I appreciate that. One of the one of the main
103.
um,
WNUA.
we are here live with this. All right. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna let me you see, that's good. Laughter actually magnifies the heart chakra by a gajillion. But as I was saying, what's so interesting in spirit is that we're talking about healing the heart chakra, and one of the things that I've been having to put back into harmony in the physical has to deal with the actual heart. But there's a couple things I wanted to say from a different people, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but I feel moved by spirit because it's funny. I can relate. So the first thing I wanted to address or piggyback on was Monique, the coach. You were so brave and courageous in sharing your first heartbreak that you feel may have put your emotions in a chrysalis that you're not easily to tap into sometimes in moments where you want to give that emotional intimacy, but it feels like it's not there. And you were asking, how do I tap in? And also, Brother Robert Heatley, I know exactly what you felt when you talked about, you used to be angry or on jobs. And so I'll try to succinctly address all that with my experience. I too have gone through tremendous heartbreak, tremendous betrayal in love and things of that nature. And it got to the point where I remember I told my father, I said, I never want to fall in love again. And he said, why? And this wasn't too long ago. This was like 2020. And I was like, because the way I love, the world doesn't respect anymore. I said, I said, love makes you extraordinarily vulnerable. And it's supposed to, because it gives you strength beyond your capabilities, but it also allows you to be weak, because true love is true intimacy. It's being naked. But when someone betrays that or disrespect that, it can leave you shattered. And I never wanted to be in a position where I felt so weak, so taken advantage of, right? And my dad looked at me and he called me a coward. And he was right. He was right. But for a long time, I was angry. And I held that within me. I was sad, depressed, angry, but there's also a side of me that knows I have a mission. And so I talk to God often, and I was like, help me with this. And I remember telling God, and then this is exact prayer, and I'm hoping this may help you. I said, God, I've had to pick the pieces of my heart up so many times. I've picked the pieces of my heart up so many times that there's nothing left to pick up. It's shattered too egregiously to pick up the pieces. And in the depths of my soul, I heard Source tell me, don't worry about picking it up. He literally said, or it literally said, I'll give you a new heart every time. What you mean by that? And Source is like, I make all things new. And those who know me know that I love me. It's a Master Yeshua. That's my guy. And so many times I look, along with other ascended masters, but I look to him and, have that relationship. And to love Love is the greatest calling. It's the most powerful, but love is a sacrifice. Love is a decision. It's not an emotion. That's where people get it wrong. Love is not an emotion, although we process it as an emotion. It's truly a decision. It's a decision each and every moment to do something selfless, to have compassion for something. Exactly. It's a verb. It's an action, as Ray said. And so in that moment, he said, if you are loving from a place of integrity, if you are loving from a place of compassion, then I will heal the wounds that come with that. And, you know, guys, I'm not, you know, the truth is when you love and you love truly and openly, it's going to come with scars and wounds, right? If you look at ascended masters and just great people who have done great things, you don't get out of this experience without some scars. But those scars that we acquire are meant to teach us. They're not meant to chain us. We're meant to learn from experiences, no matter whether painful or blissful. They're not meant to chain us. And so when I heard in my soul that he will heal it all the time, that gave me the courage to dare to love again. That gave me the courage to be inspired. And truth be told, I felt like I couldn't fall in love again. I was like, man, like I'm a G. I'm locked, bro. It ain't happening. But you know, God loves when you tell him ain't something ain't gonna happen. He like hold my celestial beer. You know what I mean? Hold my celestial cup. And he finds ways to do just that. But I want to take it back to the anger part, right? Because it's easy, you know, when we go through trauma, of course, there's anger, there's a lot that goes into it. And gangsters need love too. Absolutely. Gangsters Paradise. You know what I'm saying? Coolio. I'm hearing the song right now. Back in it was that time around 2019, 2020, right? When I went through this, I remember talking to God again. And I said, God, I have so much anger, so much trauma that I don't know how to heal. That if you don't help me, I will not be all that you have created me to be. And so I said, help me. And then like a month and a half later, I went on a spiritual retreat and I met a lady by the name of Marilyn Harper. Marilyn Harper is one of the world's most beautiful souls and renowned spiritual healers, motivational speakers, and divine links. She's a very powerful channeler. She taught me to channel. But I remember sitting in one of her first seminars, and I just prayed. I was like, man, I hope this is not just one of the motivational speakers where for that weekend you're on fire. You could climb Mount Everest with one arm behind your back, but as soon as you land home, it like wears off. I wanted something that I could take practically and soak into my cells, and I got that. And I remember something that helped me heal traumas. Right? She said it's a 3-part step. Right? She said, find 3 things that are good about what you went through. And some of that time we're like, what? Ain't nothing good about that time. Like nothing, but really think about it. Think about it, because what that does is when you change the focus on victim, when you change the focus on from all this happened to me, and when you change the focus on, okay, what did I learn? How did I grow? What has become? What is the good? Because we're divine beings and the divine is working with us, and all lessons are for our highest good, no matter if they manifest as painfully, they're still higher good. And so I was able to do that with some very, 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 very traumatic things. I was able to look at 3 things that made me better, or that brought beauty into my life from a place of what I looked at as pain. And so I say to everyone on the call, and especially Miss Monique or Brother Robert, speaking on your situations in this moment, look at 3 things that you can take. And then she also said, the first time you're talking about, I'll put on my thing so y'all can see my eyes. Sorry, I'm at work. I know, right? Look at this dude. She said also, the first time you talk about trauma or anything that's upsetting you, you want to vent about something, the first time, it's just that. It's to release it. It's to release it out of your cells, talk about it, verbalize it, scream, cry, whatever you have to do, get it out. The second time, you know, speak to a friend, someone that can hold you accountable, someone that you love and respect, that can help you see different perspectives of it, right? You know, that's the second time. And the third time when you speak about it, you can only reference it based on how you're moving forward from it, or the good that you're gonna take from it. After that, no matter if it's still bothering you, can't speak about it. What does that do? What does that practice do? That practice helps you forgive. Practice helps you from being locked in that emotional past, locked in that energy where you're just bombarding your cells and your nervous system and your consciousness with the pain of that moment. And now you're shifting, you're using your power as a divine creator, as a co-creator, and you're shifting the perspective, and then you're allowing your higher self to come through and say, okay, you know, you experienced this, but what is the cause of this? Okay, what does this mean? Okay, my highest good and my highest joy is always flowing, is always, the universe is always working for my highest good and highest joy. Help me move from this perspective to my higher perspective so that I can clearly see, I can remove the glamour of the emotion and pain that I'm going through and see where it's leading me. All things for your highest good. And I just wanted to share that. And as it comes to you, Brother Robert, when you talk about, I feel like I'm unhireable, with all due respect, you are. Why is that? It's because you are evolving. You are ascending. God told me to say this because I just had this conversation. Matter of fact, some of the current health issues that have come up out of nowhere have been because my egoic self has tried to keep me focused on one thing because I had fear of doing what I'm supposed to do. And my higher self has been like, nah, you're putting too much energy into what you're not supposed to be. So I'll break that down. Where I'm at a federal site right now. I'm at a presidential site. I'm an armed federal guard. I'm the dopest here. And I say that humbly, but it's the truth, right? I train everybody. I know everything. I'm the guy. That's my background, law enforcement and security, right? Now, I've been passed up for supervisor. They keep hiring outside, but yet they have me train those supervisors, those people who they come to supervisor. The director here has recommended me. The regional manager over these sites and these federal sites have recommended me, but the higher ups at my company, you know, they keep, for whatever reason, they hire outside, but I end up training them and everything. But I'm not the type to kowtow, to bow down. I'm respectful, but I stand in my power. And so they would always inevitably try to remove me from first shift where most things are happening, and they need your best officers to a shift where they're not on or I'm on. Notice I'm still here and it's nighttime, right? Nothing's going on. And I was upset about that, right? And the first supervisor that did it ended up getting dismissed by the company for other things, but including that, because the director's like, why is my best officers not on when we need him, right? And now we got a new guy, great guy, but ends up doing the same thing. But he used the excuse of my recent medical appointments and sick leave and things of that nature as a reason to put me on. But when I dived in and removed myself from the emotion of the anger and saw it, I said, well, if you, in today's world, right, people love titles. People love titles and feeling like they're something. And people are important, but they love titles. But if you have an officer who you know knows your job in and out, who he knows the job, who has trained everybody, and who your boss told you that he could run the site by himself and has, and was his six, you would feel intimidated. You would feel intimidated by that. And so they're not going to use me per se as an asset, right? Like a sergeant or something as an asset. They would feel intimidated. But then I was like, but why is that, God? And God is like, bro, you don't get it. the reason why I had some of these manifest is you're in your divine temple is because you have been putting too much energy in this place, going above and beyond, and they have shown you that it doesn't matter. Like you said, you're dope. You do everything you need to do. You're tip top. But for whatever reason, they can't really say it, verbalize it. It all amounts to nothing, right? But energetically, you feel it's not right. It's because, and I'm gonna put it to you like how my higher self put it to me. In a way, I say this respectfully, you became comfortable being a big fish in a small pond to ultimately where you don't need to be. You see, the most perfect present is still underappreciated at the wrong address. The address where you belong is the grander stage. What's interesting about that for me is that I know that. I've been told that. I have met, like Ray and Sahat, some of the most beautiful leaders and souls. And lovingly, they'd be like, man, like, come with it, right? And then somewhere along the line, it's like when I'm about to take that step into spiritual entrepreneurship, something will happen, a sickness or something will happen that puts me in a state of lack, either lack mentality or physical sickness where I have to step back. And so it seems certain plans. And so now I go to what I know. I go back to the rat race, what I know, law enforcement, security, blah, 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 right? And then I get absorbed back in that matrix. But then what happens? I not forget, but I focus my energy on the job or corporate and trying to lead and blah, 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 and still being a light. I'm still the angelic knight where I am. I'm still caring and everything. I know my impact here just on energy, but also in the personal lives of my coworkers and teammates. That doesn't change. Like you said, you're who you are everywhere. So why haven't got that result? Because you're trying to ascend at a place that can't hold you. Everything is screaming, it is time to literally spread your wings and move. No job per se will ever hold you that long. And it's funny because I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere except maybe FBI because, I have to certain degrees. I've been accepted by Homeland Security. The CDC wants me right now. CDC, I can go anywhere, right? But that's not my calling. My calling is doing this. My calling is loving. My calling is being an ambassador of love, is shepherding souls to know who they are, to their divine might, right? That's my calling. And when I get around those who are also in line with that, we glow. But it's how many, but for real, I know you've heard that from many people. Man, you got this, you got that, you got this, and you know it. But why aren't you quite doing it? You got to tell your ego, brother, and anyone else listening, you got to tell your ego, like Sahat said, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you really afraid of? Maybe the ego's telling you, when you're really out there on that stage and trying to serve people and things like that, you won't be as good as something like that. But that's false. That's false. Because it failing. Exactly. She said, Yola said failing. What is failure? I have been so afraid of failure that I have kind of let it chain me in a way, but yet my destiny keeps roaring at me. It keeps roaring at me. And now I finally realize that the manifestation of what I've been going through physically is my spirit, my higher self says enough. Because what literally happened is that I was working crazy hours, like 80 hours a week, 16-hour days on an hour and a half of sleep, literally. And my body said no. And I got, I got ill at work, and then they tried to force me to go home. I was like, nah, I'm a soldier. If it don't put me down, I'm not going down. And so my regional manager called the only person that could get me to, go to the doctor and clock out. He called my mom. Goddamn, moms, you can't go against that. But what that did, it led to a string of other things. Hey, your body needs this, your body needs that. You've been neglecting this, you're neglecting that. But everything starts from the spiritual before it's the physical. And so the final point I'm getting at is it's time to love. It's time to spread yourself, to heal the heart, to truly heal the heart, right? For sure, it magnifies. So what does your heart truly want? And then go for that. You see, get out of your logical mind that says, oh, what about this? What about that? I've seen miracles happen in the lives of Akia, in the lives of Rhea Sahat, since knowing them, even in my life, to be honest. But I've been holding myself back because I've been focused in man, I got to get this done. Allow the matrix to kind of, and it comes upon you, it sneaks upon you. But now I realize the reason why I keep hitting my head against a proverbial ceiling is just that there's a ceiling. Ain't no ceiling when you're in line with source. Ain't no ceiling when you're in line with what you want to do. So take that as a compliment, Mr. Robert. You are not meant for those jobs. You may be great at them, and you are, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean what the corporate says. It means that everything that creates you, you are a co-creator and you're being called for more. You have to do what you have to do, but don't get caught up. And now I finally realized that. And now that I said to myself, this time I get it. Because this ain't the first time this happened where, you know, I felt like I was taking that step into fully being who I'm supposed to be and doing what I love. And then again, I got sick again. You can ask Ray Sahat. This ain't the first time there's something happened that put me down. And then then had to focus back in there. So now I realized there was a tug of war between ego and my higher self. Ego's like, oh shit, he's about to do it. No, that's uncomfortable, bro. What do we do? Okay, we got to get him to slow down. Stay in his comfort zone, man. Yeah. Don't be out there, man. You got this. You know this. You law enforcement. You know this. You got this, right? Okay, all right. But then I get claustrophobic. You claustrophobic. You can't spread. You can't manifest. You can't do what you do. Like the calling of you is still there. You're still doing your spiritual work, even at work. You're really doing that. But it's time to do it on a grander scale where you've been called. This is one of my favorite quotes. Do not consent to creep when you feel the impulse to soar. But to soar is to spread your wings and defy gravity. Others believe in gravity. Your destiny, your potential is only limited by whom you think you are. So we must remind ourselves, who are we? What is our original divine blueprint? We are gods. We are God. We are co-creators. And so you ask yourself, what is it? That was a beautiful question. What is it that if you were at the end of your current life, what is it that you would have wanted to accomplish? Do it. One day or day one?
Okay. Give it up for Samuel the Angelic Knight, everybody. Fuck a mic drop, bag drop. No, I'm just like, I just had to hit an EYL real quick on them. Thank you so much for sharing, brother.
Yes, thank you.
Y'all, I know we went over time tonight, but I think it was so prevalent and it was so necessary because there were so many people that shared that other people in the community needed to hear from. So thank you, Samuel.
Thank y'all. It feels good to be back. It's been a while. It's been a journey these last couple months. So
yes, it has.
Absolutely. We want to give you guys the ritual. We're not going to go through it as we normally would just for the sake of time. But if you really enjoyed today, if you really had a good time, if you resonated with some of the people in this community, then definitely join us on a weekly basis. We are here every Thursday, whether if it's 2 of y'all or 20 of y'all, we here.
We just be out here being cosmic.
We are here for you, and this is an amazing space. And if you are a part of the community, of course, you get access to the replays, but there's just something different about that live in-person energy. So join the community. You get 2-week free trial when you first sign up. So let's say you like this one, but you want to see the next one and, you know, vibe out with us a little bit more. You get a little bit more time with us. So click the link in the chat, cozmicconvos.com, and sign up. Sign up. And yeah, I would let's do the ritual. Do you want to give them inner child visualization exercise?
Yes. So if you what was shared earlier, if you have a moment in your childhood, because a lot of the traumas and things that we identify as in our adulthood happen in our childhood. So find that moment when you had something traumatic happen in your childhood, something that you still feel and that still resonates with you now, something that you would love to transmute, you would love to shift. So when you're in that meditative state and you are visualizing, you're focused on that visual of what it was that caused that issue in your childhood, just go back and pause the scene, and whatever it was, whatever happened, just stop it and give that child version of you a hug and tell yourself, hey, it's okay. You don't have to hold on to this anymore. This didn't happen. We can release this, whatever resonates with you. And you can transmute that, because we're quantum beings. You can pull from the future and you can send healing and shift things from your past. So we're talking about, on a quantum level, shifting the energy that we're holding on to and transmuting that into something that radiates from us, that radiates within. So allowing our radiance to transmute all frequencies that no longer serve our highest path.
Mm-hmm. And also, one thing that helped me as I went through this exercise is to become the adult that your inner child needed.
Be your own hero.
Yeah, because there was a lot, like my first traumatic experience was a domestic situation between my dad and my mom. And in that moment, I felt like the person who was supposed to protect me put me in danger. So that added confusion. So in that moment, I went back and I gave myself comfort and safety. I became the adult that my inner child needed in that visualization. So tonight, before you go to bed, just 10 minutes before you decide to get in bed, you could sit up in bed, you could do it while you're laying down, you could do it, before you get in bed, whatever. But before you go to bed tonight, allow yourself 10 minutes to spend a little time with your inner child and give that child comfort, love, protection, just space to be self. If you felt maybe like as a child you were judged a lot, or you weren't allowed to really express yourself fully, create that space for yourself tonight before you go into the dream state, and allow your inner child to really fully integrate with who you are right now.
And get creative with it. So if you're seeing a specific scene where you were in that space in your childhood, just allow divine light to fill every area of that area, and just remove everything except for you holding yourself. So now, like, the entire scene has shifted, and now you are just flooded with divine light and love and compassion for yourself, and give yourself that maximum grace.
Mm-hmm. And what that's going to do is that's going to energetically rewrite that memory in your mind.
So now, because you are the author and the narrator of your own story, you are shifting that tale.
Absolutely. So what we'll do, since we don't have time to go through it now, what we'll do is next week, as the meditation. We'll start this as the meditation. We'll go through this exercise with you guys as the meditation. So come back next week. For those of you who are a part of the family, we will see you next week. For those of you who have not yet joined, again, we'll drop the link in the comments. And yeah, just sign up. And we will see y'all next week. Thank y'all so much.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thank you, family. Thank you, Ray and Sahai. Thank you. Ian. Thank you, everyone.
Love y'all.
Thank you. I see you.
Vibrating your magnificence, everyone.
Love y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Love you infinitely.